What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So nobody expected prices to do this, and I want to explain what this is, why this is potentially alarming to people in the United States. I want to give you a full economic update and address some international news regarding oil and energy, because here's what we know. And yesterday I talked about how the crisis that we are facing right now is not expected to last forever. But I do want to address the new talks that are coming out today, because according to the International Energy Agency, and specifically the chief, he says, and it's Chief Fatih Birol or something like that, but he said that the US and Europe face fuel shortages as summer vacations get underway. And this is potentially something that will be bigger than the 1970s. Now, he also went on to say, we have an oil crisis, a gas crisis, and an electricity crisis simultaneously. This is not what we want. Not only do we have all these issues going on, but then a big one in the United States is our power grid. What's going on there? Is climate going to impact us? Is the heat going to hurt us in this summer months? Potentially. Well, even the International Energy Agency chief said that this current energy crisis could be worse than the 1970s. Now, I was not born in 1970, I was born in the 80s, but for those of you that do not know what went on or just need a little reminder, here's what happened. In 1973, we saw a barrel of oil go from $2.90 per barrel to $11.65 a barrel. That's a 400% increase. Now, this increase caused many drivers to simply park their cars. Okay, just park their cars, not go anywhere. This also caused, the U.S. economy to shrink by 2.5%. We saw increased unemployment, and we also saw, which is very tough, is we saw inflation at 8.8%. That's not far from where we're at right now at 8.3%. We used to be at 8.5. So we're going to find out within the next 10 days, because on June 10th, we get our new CPI report. Now, the struggle with the CPI report is that back in 1973, we were at 8.8% inflation. The problem now is the numbers are somewhat revised, where we're only getting half of the report, because technically the agency is pulling certain things out and the number is not as high as it could be. So again, it's a little bit troubling. But in 1973, we ended up in a recession. This lasted for 2 years until 1975. Now here's where things get very interesting. President Biden, he had a meeting today with the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Now, President Biden made it very clear, according to reports, that he is going to stay out of Powell's way so that he can do his job and bring inflation back down without input from Biden himself. Now, what's interesting about this is that multiple polls are now reporting that voters are going to vote Republican if President Biden and Democrats cannot get a handle on rising prices. Now, just to give you an idea, because if you want to know, when was the last time a president was reelected to office during or within 2 years of a recession? Well, you'd have to go all the way back to 1900 when William McKinley was president. Okay, so that's the issue. There's only been one time in history where a current president got reelected during or within 2 years of a recession. That's exactly where President Biden is right now. He runs a risk of not getting reelected. So guess what? What's happening right now, and what is troubling to many lawmakers, is they don't know which direction to go. Do we push for more relief to the American people? Do we push for more bills that would potentially help with rising costs? Some of these things could, I know stimulus, that's obviously thrown in there, but again, I don't think that's going to happen. Could we see more to families and parents raising children? Yes. Could we see student loan forgiveness? Yes, and reports indicate that we will see this eventually. We could also see things like something that Senator Joe Manchin has been pushing for as well is prescription drug prices to come down, right? We could see all these things. We could also see more money going to climate spending. And if more money goes to climate spending, eventually it's going to bring down our costs, okay, to drive, to just turn on lights at your house, right? It's going to cost less. Now, what we know at this point is as prices continue to rise, Democrats are going to need to find pretty much more ways than they're doing right now to get help to the American people and show the American people they're back on their side. Well, here's what I can tell you. The expectation is the next bill, the next big bill. The reason I say big bill is because anything is considered big. But the next bill that's going to be passed eventually is going to have to be for climate, okay, something on a climate package, and chances are a prescription, a bill to fight prescription drug prices. That's what we're likely to see. Now, here's what I can tell you. And again, it's difficult to turn on the news and you see all these reports that, okay, this country, they're struggling, that country's struggling. But here's the thing. As Europe struggles, okay, as other countries struggle, guess what? The American people, we are tasked with paying our taxes, pushing our country further into debt, okay, and a deeper deficit, simply because as a country, as a whole, we keep sending money to other countries to help them with their issues. Now, and again, I know some countries are helping us, but we do help a lot to other countries. And this is what's so troubling to many Americans is why do we keep paying our taxes, yet the money doesn't get spent here within our borders? The money gets spent somewhere else, and we never even see that. That's what's troubling. So what nobody right now is really expecting is prices to continue to rise at the levels that they are, simply because the United States keeps sending our resources over to other countries. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be food, it could be fuel, oil. It doesn't matter. Military equipment. Again, we send off military equipment that costs billions and billions and billions of dollars. I don't even know how much money it costs. But we send off all that equipment, okay? All those resources. We're not sending off money. And that's what lawmakers keep saying is, no, we're not helping with money. We're helping with equipment, military equipment. But essentially, more money has to go to the military budget, which comes out of our taxpayer dollars. And so essentially we are sending money. It's just money in pretty much looking like a missile or a tank or whatever, right? That's the issue. And that's why many people are not expecting prices to do what they're doing now. Prices are going to keep increasing, and the expectation is there is nothing at this point that is going to slow them down except a recession. All right? So just wanted to fill you in on what's currently going on because honestly, nobody expected prices to keep going up. What we expected, and all experts expected it. I'm not saying I'm an expert at all, but experts were anticipating prices are going to get so high, going to be so elevated. Eventually, the American people would be like, nope, I'm not buying that. But guess what? We continue to buy, but not with cash. What we're buying now with is our savings and credit cards. That's what's happening at this point. And again, it's very troubling. So that's what's going on as of right now. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.